53 soldiers were recording the moment that would end Cole Merrick's career. They just didn't know it yet. The fluorescent lights at Fort Bragg's training facility carved harsh shadows across the rubber mats. At 9:30 p.m., those 53 soldiers lined the walls, phones raised, cameras fixed on the center where Cole Merrick moved like a predator who'd never met anything he couldn't kill. He looked the part, 6'2", 210 pounds of sculpted muscle wrapped in a black compression shirt that advertised every gym hour. Sleeves rolled just enough to flash the Ranger tab inked on his left forearm. A jawline sharp enough to cut glass, and he knew it. Behind him, spotlit like a trophy kill, his laminated third-degree black belt certificate hung on the wall. As a third-degree black belt in Krav Maga, Cole announced, his voice carrying that particular brand of arrogance that comes from never being truly tested. "Let me show you what real combat looks like." What followed was brutal poetry, a throat strike that would collapse a windpipe, an elbow designed to shatter orbital bones, a knee that could rupture organs, technically perfect, designed to destroy. The soldiers watching didn't cheer. They sat in a silence that wasn't respect, it was fear. Cole's hand shot out, selecting a volunteer from the crowd, a private barely out of basic, 19 at most, still soft around the edges. The kid stepped onto the mat like he was walking to his own execution. "Block this!" Cole didn't wait. The punch came lightning fast, pulled at the last heartbeat but close enough that the private felt death whisper past his face. He flinched, stumbled, hit the mat hard. Not one soldier laughed. They'd all been that kid in Cole's class. Pathetic. Cole extended a hand to help him up, then jerked it away at the last second. "Think the enemy's gonna go easy on you?" The private scrambled up alone, face burning with humiliation. Cole had already turned away, dismissing him like trash. "This is what happens when you go soft," he declared, pacing like a caged predator. "When you forget combat isn't about rules or fairness, it's about survival." But someone watching from the observation deck above had seen enough. Quick pause before we continue. If you're watching this from somewhere in the world right now, let me know in the comments. I read every single one. And if you're enjoying stories like this, make sure to hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell, because tomorrow's episode, it goes even deeper than this. From the observation deck, Harper Brennan watched through the glass. She'd been taking notes for her contractor evaluation report, but she'd stopped writing 3 minutes ago. Her pen remained in her hand, but her knuckles had gone white around it. At 27, Harper was built like a wire, 54, 130 pounds, all condensed into something that appeared breakable but wasn't. Her blonde hair was pulled into a regulation bun so tight it could have been painted on. A scar bisected her left eyebrow, a souvenir from Fallujah she never bothered to cover. Beneath her contractor polo, her arms told stories in scar tissue that most people couldn't read, but all operators recognized. She'd been at Fort Bragg for 6 weeks. 6 weeks of watching Cole Merrick cross lines, 6 weeks of soldiers coming to her privately saying they were afraid of him. 6 weeks of filing reports that went nowhere because his father wore stars and sat in the Pentagon. Harper closed her notebook. She was done watching. Below, the training room door opened. An older man shuffled in, pushing a maintenance cart, dressed in dark blue custodial coveralls, his shoulders slightly hunched. His gait was careful, the kind of careful that came from joints that didn't work like they used to. Walter Griffin was 69 years old, though he could pass for older. His hair had gone white 2 decades ago. His hands shook sometimes, especially when it was cold or when loud noises came without warning. He'd been the night janitor at Fort Bragg for 7 years. Before that, he'd been many things, but that was long ago. "Excuse me," Walter said quietly, his voice gravelly and worn smooth like river stones. "Scheduled maintenance for 21:30 hours. I can come back." Cole turned slowly, his smile cruel. "Can't you see we're training, old man?" Walter nodded, already backing toward the door. "Yes, sir, my apologies, I'll return later." "You deaf or stupid?" The room went impossibly quieter. Walter stopped moving. His hand tightened on the cart handle. For just a second, something flickered behind his eyes, something that wasn't old age, something that remembered different times, different wars. "Sir, I'm just doing my job. I'll come back after." Cole crossed the distance in 3 strides. He didn't touch Walter, not yet. He just stood there, using his height, his youth, his position, using everything to make an old man feel small. "You don't tell me what you'll do. This is my facility, my class." He gestured to the soldiers. "These men are learning real combat. You think your job is more important than their training?" "No, sir." "Then get the hell out." Walter turned to leave. He'd made it 2 steps when Cole grabbed his shoulder, spun him around, and shoved, not hard enough to be assault, just hard enough to make a point. Walter stumbled. His hip caught the maintenance cart. He went down slowly, like watching a tree fall. He hit the mat with a sound too loud in the silent room. The cart tipped, spilling cleaning supplies. The smell of disinfectant filled the air. Cole stood over him. "Clumsy old bastard." Some soldiers had their phones out recording, always recording evidence or entertainment depending on what happened next. Walter lay there for a moment, his hands shaking worse now, both pressed flat against the mat like he was trying to remember how to do a push-up. Or like he was somewhere else entirely, some other floor, some other time, some other war. His breathing had changed, faster, shallower. The kind of breathing that came with panic attacks, with PTSD flashbacks, with being thrown back to a desert 20 years ago where falling meant dying. Cole laughed, actually laughed. "Look at him, can't even stand up, and you wonder why they put you out to pasture." He walked back toward his students, dismissing the old man like trash. "This is what happens when you don't maintain combat readiness. You become useless, weak. A burden on society instead of an asset." Cole was playing to his audience now, voice rising. "In the real world, weakness gets you killed, and if you're lucky, it only gets you killed. If you're unlucky, your weakness gets your brothers killed." Some soldiers shifted uncomfortably. They knew Cole was crossing a line, but nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Fear was a powerful motivator. "This old man probably never even saw combat," Cole continued. "Probably spent his career pushing papers in some air-conditioned office. Now he's cleaning up after real warriors because that's all he's good for. Enough." The voice from the doorway wasn't loud, but it carried weight that made every head turn. Harper Brennan stood in the entrance. She'd come down from the observation deck without anyone noticing. Her notebook was still in one hand, but her other hand hung loose at her side. Relaxed, ready. Cole's eyes narrowed when he saw her. Small woman, contractor badge, nobody important. "Who the hell are you?" Harper walked into the room. Her boots made no sound on the mat. She moved like water, slipping through cracks you didn't know existed. She walked past Cole without looking at him and knelt beside Walter. "Sir," she said quietly. "Are you hurt?" Walter looked up at her. His eyes were gray and faded like old denim, but sharp and alert. He studied her face, and something passed between them, recognition, perhaps, or just the acknowledgement when one operator sees another. "I'm fine, miss, just clumsy." Harper helped him to his feet, her hands gentle but firm. She steadied him, checking his pupils, watching his breathing, assessing for injury with the practiced eye of someone who'd done field medicine under fire. Then she bent to pick up the cleaning supplies. Cole watched with the expression of someone watching a performance he didn't understand. "You his girlfriend or something?" The soldiers shifted uncomfortably. They could feel where this was going. Harper straightened. She looked at Cole for the first time, really looked at him the way a sniper looks at a target, measuring distance, calculating. "I'm the person telling you to apologize." Cole blinked. Then he laughed, the sound growing bigger, meaner. Some of his students joined in, not all, but enough. "Apologize." Cole took a step forward, then another, trying to use his size again, his favorite weapon. "Do you know who I am?" "Cole Merrick, former Army Ranger washout, 3rd-degree black belt in Krav Maga, son of Major General Raymond Merrick." Harper's voice was flat, reciting facts like reading from a file.